Okay. All right. Hey, Matt Galodley here. And what we're going to talk, I'm going to share with you a story today about someone that really positively impacted me and encouraged me to go ahead and move forward. And hopefully you have somebody like this in your life, or you can be this to someone in their life as well. So I want to tell you the story about a guy named Raman Patel. So Raman, as we called him, Raman was a member of, back when I was I was in the private club business. He was one of the members, along with a guy by the name of Bob Wattlington, who were members at Princeton Meadows Golf Club. And I want to show you a picture here. I don't know if you can see this, but here's a picture that I keep in my office. And this picture is, you'll see Raman, right? That's me. That's me without gray hair. There's Raman. And there is Bob Wattlington. Now that's Fess, and that's Mike Gardner right there. They worked for me at Princeton Meadows. And this is at Augusta National on the 12th hole. That is on the Wednesday of the Masters. And we were there for the practice round. I had invited Raman and Bob to come with me. And Raman spent the entire Wednesday walking around Augusta National, convincing me that I needed to start my own business. Now, mind you, I had only been running Princeton Meadows for about, 2 months or something like that. And so Raman spent this entire time, actually, no, I'm sorry, I had already been there for a year. And I had been transferred around. I'd been transferred around a couple of times. And so you'll see in the shirt, I've got the University Club. I was in the middle of building one of my the golf course in Baton Rouge. And so Raman spent the entire time walking me around the golf course at Augusta National, telling me I had to start my very own business. And what he did was, Raman at that time was about 55 years old, and he's this really strong, stocky guy. His story is he came to this country with a couple $100 in his pocket, wound up becoming a major perfumer, and he wound up owning a company called Custom Essence that to this day I think makes the compound for Polo cologne and things of that nature. So he was the true self-made man along with Bob Wattlington. And the two of these guys took me, and especially Raman, and he kept telling me, he goes, Matt, you're too talented. You're too talented. You have to start your own company. You have to do it. You have to go out there and do this. He goes, it doesn't matter if you fail. You can go back to the golf business. It'll always be there. He said, but you have to go out. You have to give it a try. And I remember we were at the par 3 golf course, and we were at the par 3 tournament, which is hosted on Wednesday at Augusta National. And he's standing behind one of the tees as we're watching the guys go by, and everybody's listening. And he goes, Matt, you've got to try. You've got to try. Really, really loud. And what happened was, the idea that I came up with Raman that day never got off the ground. All right. That's the big lesson. Okay. Is that idea never, ever got off the ground. I had this idea that I was going to create, with his help, I was going to create fragrances and perfumes for fraternities and sororities, and they were going to have their own perfume and all of that. Never really got off the ground. I wasn't really passionate about it. But that idea led me to the idea that I could buy the club that I was running, the University Club of Baton Rouge, which that didn't work, which then led me to buying and selling pre-foreclosure real estate, which did work, which then led me to coaching 3,000 investors nationwide, which did work, which led to this, which led to that, which led to this, which led to that. And the lesson that I want you to get, and I keep this picture in my office, okay? This picture has been with me everywhere, and it's always prominently displayed in my office. And the reason why is it reminds me that it's not the act of the idea. It's not about having the perfect idea. It's about the act of starting, okay? It's about the act of starting to go after this dream as a doctor, to own your own medical practice, to start a cash-based practice. It didn't matter that I didn't know what I was doing. It's the fact that I started. And so Raman and I hatched this idea about doing this perfume for fraternities and sororities. And he goes, just go down the path, Matt. Just go down the path. And he put me in contact with this guy who kind of helped me. And I realized very quickly it's not what I wanted to do. But guess what? It led to something else. It led to something else. I think too many people want everything to be perfect and right before they start. They want all the conditions to be right. They want the economy to be right. They want They want everything to line up perfectly. And I'm here to tell you, it never lines up perfectly, ever. In fact, this process of owning your own company, and I've been doing this since, so it's 2020 right now. I've been doing this since this picture was taken probably in 1998, I think. Yeah, 1998, 97 or 98. I've been doing this for well over 20 years, for 22 years. It's never gone according to plan. It's always changed. It's always had kinds of tops and turves. It's always had adjustments and changes. So here's the thing. If you're watching this and you are a doctor or PA or something like that, and you have this dream to start something, here's what I would tell you. You can always go back, just like Raman used to say to me. Matt, you can always go back to being a golf pro. You can always go back to being a general manager. It will always be there. And I'm going to tell you, you can always go back to the hospital. You can always go back to working for the large group. You can always go back to doing locum tenens. You can always go back. But if you don't try, if you don't go down that path, and I'm here to tell you that path is messy. Sometimes it can be very, very messy. Hopefully, maybe if you wind up working with me, I'll make it less messy for you as I do for my clients. But you've got to try. And so that's my word for you today. Give it a shot. What do you have to lose? All right. You can always go back. You can always go back to working for the big hospital. You can always go back to working for the large group. You can always go back to whatever you were doing at this time. But the reality is that once you start this path, you're going to realize it's a heck of a lot better than working for somebody else. All right. That's what I have for you today. Y'all have a great day. Thanks.